For more on the valedictory plenary of the 9th National Assembly and other related matters, let's bring in now senior correspondent Ayodele Ozugbakun, who is live for us in Abuja. Hello there, Ayodele. Even the senators themselves, that is those of the 9th Assembly, are also assessing them. First, it was Senator Ndume who said there was, in his words, over-collaboration with the senators and the Buhari administration. And then another senator, Iyaro, is saying the suspension and arrest of Godwin Emefiele as CPN governor shows an indictment of the 9th Assembly. What's your take on these interesting perspectives?
Looking at the scorecard of the 9th Assembly, when you want to juxtapose it with what happened during the 8th Assembly, you want to say it is unprecedented in the history of the National Assembly that 1,129 bills were actually raised in the floor of that House. And the 500 got to the second reading, and 131 was actually accented by the President. And when you want to look at it to the achievement of the 8th Assembly, you discover that this 9th Assembly has been more productive, the most productive assembly since 1999, talking in terms of the upper legislative chamber that actually had their valedictory session yesterday. Don't forget that we lost 4 senators in 4 years, and at the same time, the turnover rate, the return rate to the 10th Assembly will be very, very low, all-time low. Just 25% of those senators that out of 109 will be returning for the 10th Senate, and 75% of them will not be returning, unfortunately. This was part of what Ali Ndume actually raised yesterday, that it's not good for their business, and he cited that in other parts of the world, that former President Joe Biden actually spent 43 years in the Senate, that the likes of James Manager that spent 20 years in the Senate and want to buy out, that the Senate President even retorted that, look, that the more years they invest into the Senate, the better they get, and it will improve the quality of legislation. Don't forget that some senators were actually lucky. Some senators, like Senator Sani Uba, he was elected as the governor of Kaduna State. He had to leave the Senate, and Senator Hassan Naisha was from Zamfara Central, was actually nominated as the deputy governor, and Senator Akon Eyaki was actually nominated again as the deputy governor in that Akwa Ibom State, and Senator Adamu Abdullahi actually emerged as the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, and not forgetting Senator Abubakar Kyari actually elected as the deputy national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, and the senator representing Lagos Central, 3-time senator, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, from 2007 to 2011 to 2015, and Remi Tinubu is now the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Talking in terms of those bills that were actually accented by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I told you earlier that 131 out of 500 bills passed were actually accented, has been the highest since 1999. And the one significant one that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did, the first one he did when he got to office, is that bill that increased the number of years the judges can serve from 65 to 70 years. That bill was actually accented to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the Electricity Act for 2023, that's one of the biggest achievements of this 9th Senate. What will that do? That will be unbundling the behemoth called the Gencos, Discos, the monopoly. It was actually in the exclusive legislative list, and right now it's going to share the same power from the concurrent list to the exclusive list with the federal government and state government, and private individuals can actually go into providing power supply. You don't have to go through the national grid, and the national grid will not be holding the monopoly that we've seen till today there again. And that is like a big news and a very good news. This bill was actually passed in July 2022 by the National Assembly. I don't know why President Muhammadu Buhari refused to accent that bill, but Bola Ahmed Tinubu immediately getting to the office, he saw the importance. Don't forget, in 1999, this was the governor, when he was the governor of Lagos State. In 2001, he brought in Enron. It was when he brought in Enron in Ikorodu, after the modalities and everything with federal government, that it was discovered that this law is a kind of impediment, will not allow Bola Tinubu to be able to provide electricity for indigenous of citizens of Lagos, residents of Lagos alone, that error will have to go through the national grid and it's going to be distributed as it's deemed fit. So this unbundling of this Electricity Act 2020, it's a very, very big thing. And don't forget, they also altered the Constitution 16 times. I mean, they altered the Constitution. 16 parts of the Constitution was amended by this assembly. So when you ask me to analyze the Ahmed Lawal Assembly, the only bad thing there is that 75% will not be coming and 25% will be returned. They had 361 motions were moved and 488 resolutions were actually passed, calling the attention of the federal government to issues and sought their intervention on particular intervention for some of the national issues. And don't forget, COVID-19, there was also COVID-19 during this night assembly. So we had the good, the bad, and the ugly for this night assembly. So I heard of, in the next 48 hours, we are going to have the 10th assembly coming.
Right, and the 10th assembly is due to be inaugurated on Tuesday this week. And of course, their work is cut out for them. The president's cabinet, of course, and the issue of the suspended CBN governor. Tell us more about, how crucial the coming of the 10th National Assembly will be.
The coloration of this 10th Assembly is the most, we have 8 political parties that will be in this 10th Assembly. And I must make it known to you that since 1999, we've never had this kind of assembly with this coloration. The All Progressive Congress don't control majority of the absolute majority in both houses, especially the House of Representatives. And it is important so that what happened during the 8th Assembly, that they had the cooperation between the federal government and the National Assembly, they were at loggerheads. As a matter of that, that affected the number of bills that were passed, that affected the executive legislature cooperation, and that's actually stalled the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari. It is believed that between 2015 and 2019, that actually stalled the achievements of the Buhari administration. But it got better during the night assembly when we had Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, now the Chief of Staff to the President, and Ahmed Lawal as the Senate President. What the President is looking for here is a situation whereby he has talked about his preferred candidates. But some people are saying that the President does not have a right to actually, as the party leader, to actually determine those that will emerge as principal officers in the National Assembly. But some are saying that, yes, it does, that the President has not done anything, that during the Obasanjo administration, the Obasanjo had an input that during the Yar'Adua administration, during the Goodluck Jonathan administration, that the President has not done anything that has not been done before. But some people are saying that the National Assembly, as an independent arm of government, should be left to actually choose their leaders. Now the President has signified his interest in Senator Godswill Akpabio, the immediate Niger Delta minister, and is a Christian from Akwa Ibom State, from the south. And a lot of people are saying that, look, what might have informed this by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the Muslim ticket that he actually ran with in 2023, that this might be a move to actually pacify the Christians, that, Akpabio should emerge. But we have, in the last 2-3 weeks, another strong force, that's Senator Yari, the former governor of, the former Senator-elect Yari, Abdulaziz Yari, the former governor, 2-time governor of Zamfara State. He has been gathering momentum. Don't forget, he's from the northern part of the Nigeria. The reason is saying that, his own argument is saying that, look, the North will need representation from the National Assembly, a strong one, that, some will say, since the judiciary, it's been led by somebody from the Southwest, that's Justice Olukayode Ariwola, and the powerful executive will be led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the Southwest and Muslim, and they are saying that it has not happened since 1999 for the North not to have a representation in the arms of government available. So the ethnic sentiment, the religious sentiment will come into play in the next 48 hours. But only only 109 senators will be allowed to actually choose their leaders, and 360 members of the House of Representatives will actually decide who becomes the leaders of the 10th Assembly. But I must tell you, it's so much high power politics, lobbying, horse trading, give it and take, and talks going on even between the executive to members, senator-elect of the National Assembly. In the next 48 hours, we are going to decide. The president is expected to make a kind of proclamation of the 10th Assembly, and the House will break into two, that the chief whip of each of these houses, House of Representatives and Senate, will actually organize the election, put together the election, and the leaders of this, the 10th Assembly from the House of Representatives and the Senate will actually emerge.
All right, and of course we are at the eve of the significance of the June 12 memorial, and it's a big deal for the federal government, even though it has said it's going to celebrate this year's event on a low-key level, right, Ayodele?
Don't forget, 30 years ago, MK Abiola ran under the mantra of Hope 1993. So 30 years time, 30 years just this year, Bola Tinubu ran under the mantra of this renewed hope, 30 years, and he played a major role, to see to, after the annulment of the June 12, 1993 election, was part of those people that formed the National Democratic Coalition that were abroad, that actually fought the military junta to a standstill, and the role he played there 30 years after, he is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, but it's going to be a low-key celebration, but the president is expected to make a national broadcast by 7 a.m. tomorrow and to tell Nigerians what the New Democracy Day will be all about. And a lot of people will be expecting the president to even mention some of his team, cabinet, as people that were working with him. And don't forget, part of the bill that this National Assembly actually passed is they gave the president just 60 days after the taking oath of office to actually nominate his minister. It's now a matter of law. What we experienced in 2015, that we had Muhammadu Buhari, it took him 6 months to actually form his cabinet. But it's a matter of law now. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is compelled to submit the names of his nominated ministers within 60 days of taking oath of office to the National Assembly, that's the Senate, for screening. So we don't have time. We are not expected to see what we witnessed in 2015 here coming.
All right, Ayodele Ozugbakun, thanks a lot for the updates from your end. Of course, there's still much more to expect ahead of these big events scheduled to hold in Abuja. Of course, other states of the Federation will also be marking their own versions of Democracy Day in honor of the winner of the 93 presidential election. That's MK Abiola. TVC News senior political correspondent, Ayodele Ozugbakun. Once again, thanks a lot.